Oh, you're going to absolutely have a meltdown when I tell you the rest of this. But she said, your body is your brand, and currently your brand is my business. So if your body doesn't look a certain way, like, you are selling this whole method and protocol based off how you look.
Today I'm joined by someone who lives and breathes strength, discipline, and the power of showing up for yourself. Katie Martin. She's a sweat trainer, coach, and my Fitspo. Katie has helped thousands of women transform their relationship with movement, not through restriction or punishment, but through consistency, confidence, and community. Her programs on sweat have empowered women globally to embrace strength training, reconnect with their bodies, and prioritize themselves in a whole new way. In this episode, we dive deep into her journey to becoming a sweat trainer, how she stays grounded in an industry that often celebrates extremes, and the mindset it takes to move with purpose and passion. We chat about motivation, rest, cycle syncing, her favorite rituals, and how movement can be a form of emotional release and self-respect. Whether you're new to training or want to deepen your wellness journey, this conversation will remind you that strength is so much more than what we see on the outside. Welcome to Self-Dom.
Oh my goodness, that was so nice.
How exciting.
I think that's my new morning affirmation, and I'm just going to read over.
That's so cute. Well, I'm so grateful you're here because we actually haven't had that many trainers on. Self-Dom is so much about your mental state. And obviously the physical body has such a big part of it. So I'm just really grateful that you could make it on the couch.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course, I want to start by learning about your journey. How did your love for fitness start?
I think I, now being an adult, can see this with so much appreciation. And at the time, I don't think I realized just how lucky I was. But I grew up in a very fit household. So my mum and my dad would get up every morning and do some sort of movement, whether that was a run, a walk with a girlfriend, a swim, like honestly, whatever. And it was, I never had to learn to exercise. It was something I'd like wake up, brush my teeth, go exercise, and then I started my day, which again now not like, and that's when you're younger, that's all you know, right? So I just thought that was the norm. Obviously now being older and having a wider perspective of what people see as like health and fitness, it's not the norm. And so I'm very grateful for like that was my upbringing. So it was always a really positive association with exercise. I always look forward to doing it. And I think as a kid, like I looked up to my parents and I was like, oh, I just want to like, whatever you do, I want to do. Like monkey see, monkey do. So I wanted to go run with them and whatever. And that was kind of my like very early infant stages with exercise. And then I danced growing up and that was like my main sport. And I just loved it. And I found that Pilates really helped. And we did a lot of Pilates to like help our core for ballet and all that sort of stuff and like rehab-esque vibes. And then I guess moving on from there, I decided to do my Cert 3 and 4 in personal training when I was in grade 11 and 12 at school. Because I just thought I can still, I mean, it's different now, but in Queensland, it was called your OP. I think it's the same as your HSC or what?
Oh, yeah,
whatever they have here.
Your final exams.
Yeah, your final exams. And basically we got, well, it's changed now, but we got a thing called an OP and I could still get that as well as do my Cert 3 and 4 in fitness. I was like, great, I will just take off, one subject and basically just go to the gym twice a week and do a theory lesson. Like that just sounds like fun. And
what you were seeing as fun in year 12 is so different to what I view as fun. Like I'm very in awe of your upbringing right now.
Oh, thank you.
Your parents also just goals taking you guys for runs?
Yeah, it was just, now looking back and I'm like, that was so not the norm. But I just thought it was so normal that you would wake up and like go do something. But yeah, I really wanted to do my Cert 3 and 4 because I just thought, great, one less subject and I can finish with this. And I had no intentions of being a personal trainer. It's not something I ever aspired to be or had this childhood dream of being. If anything, I wanted to do like go study dietetics and I was like really interested in food.
But the wellness space was like your jam.
It's a hobby. And then long story cut short, started working at a gym when I was in grade 12 because it was like a female-only Pilates-inspired gym. And it was a beautiful space and I was just going there as a member. And the lady that owned it said, oh, like, what are you studying at university? And I was like, oh, no, I just turned 17. I was like, I'm 17, I'm in grade 12, but I've just finished my Cert 3 in Form Fitness. I'm a dancer, but I'm not going to dance full time after school. I think I want to go study dietetics. And she was like, hang on, you're telling me that you're a qualified trainer, you're, in grade 12, you also have dance experience and like a lot of Pilates experience. And I was like, yeah. And basically she said, do you want a job? And so I started working at this gym, and very quickly I was like taking group classes. I had clients in the morning from 5 a.m. till 8 a.m. Then I go to school all day, and then I come back and train people from 4 till 7. And she's like, your one rule is you don't have to lie, but don't tell people that you're not 25, because everyone just assumed I was older. I think I've always, because I've got older siblings, I've always like just kind of assimilated to like an older age bracket. And so I would rock up in the mornings, actually the beginning my mum was driving me over if I was too tired. And then I would do the classes, go to school,
you
come back.
You would have been exhausted.
I mean, there was a lot of photos of me. No, there was a lot of photos of me sleeping in my classroom. But I think at this point I was like a really studious kid. Like I was a bit of a nerd. I was like really like loved school. I loved learning. And I probably have that like perfectionist streak where I was like, I wanted to do well. And then as soon, maybe like halfway through grade 12, I was like, no, I want to be a PT. This is what I want to do. So I kind of just was like, whatever. And that's when I started sleeping in class. But it was like crazy because, yeah, everyone thought I was 25 and I had clients in the morning and afternoon. And then when I finished school and I would have been like just turned 18, I kind of just had this thought. I was like, I'm living at home. I don't have children. I don't have a mortgage. I have literally zero risk. I have the world at my feet. Why am I building someone else's dream when I can go after my own? And so I stopped working there and started training people in a park. And that was April of 2017. And things have very much evolved since then. But yeah, that was like my introduction to how I became a trainer.
I think it's so inspiring to hear this journey because it's been very authentic.
Yes.
I feel like there was, that quote, I don't chase, I attract. Yep. I feel like the opportunities were very much coming to you as you were going through life. And now looking where you are from there, it just all makes sense.
Yeah, it was very, very organic. Like and don't get me wrong, I'm very goal orientated, but sometimes I have this theory that if you have your goals set to the point, like too detailed, you can sometimes miss opportunities that will take you further ahead or might, serve you better in the long run. And I think I was just young and in this mindset of just say yes to everything, like go after every opportunity, and just have every conversation because you never know where they land you. And yeah, it was really nice. And I think I started posting on Instagram just what my clients were doing and just how I was training my clients. And it was always my business and my skill set first, being a trainer and serving my clients, and then social media second. And I was just sharing what they were doing. I had no intentions of really like growing a following or doing anything along the lines of what I am doing now. I guess also back then it was like, 10 years ago almost. Social media isn't what it is now. So it was very different times. But yeah, I was just like posting what I was doing and people started to like how I was training my clients, and yeah, it just all kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah. I want to talk a bit about body image because I feel like when you're at school, there's a lot of pressure to look a certain way. And I personally found it really difficult. How did you find being a personal trainer? Did you ever develop bad habits or bad body image by being around like the Fitspo people all the time? Because it is an industry where there are extremes and you see that online,
It's like, I'll be the first to say, like, I've had to actively practice positive body image things in my day and rituals, because it is such a slippery slope, especially with the rise of social media and so much of my work falling into that space now. But when I first started, it's that first job I talked about when I was still at school, I remember the owner, and it was the right job for the time, but she was very toxic. And she got me one day and held my hand and looked me in the eye and said, your body is your brand. And yeah, I kid you not, and you're going to absolutely have a meltdown when I tell you the rest of this, but she said, your body is your brand, and currently your brand is my business. So if your body doesn't look a certain way, like, you are selling this whole method and protocol based off how you look. She used to make me, so I was 17, verging onto 18, in grade 12, like in the thick of when, this whole body image stuff is at its
Your frontal cortex hasn't developed. Like, you are so malleable.
I'm so impressionable.
Yeah.
And I'm also like, I don't know. I just grew up in this, like I said,
Really
it was
healthy relationship with food and exercise.
So it was like quite polarizing because
Wow.
I'd never had this. And like I said, I danced growing up. So you got really thick skin really quickly because you go to auditions and you would stand there and you'd have people talk about you in front of you. But I guess you just saw it for what it was in the sense that like they were looking for a particular look, a particular height, and you kind of learned that it wasn't personal because you just like, well, if I'm not the height that they want, I can't go change that. Like I'm just, so I kind of had thick skin from dancing and dancing on stage and constantly being judged. But it was always done in like kind of almost a positive light. I know that sounds a bit weird, but it was just what it was. So I had thick skin, but when she said to me, your body is your brand, she followed it with, she put me on a really strict diet and I was really lean. Like I will show you photos. It was wild. And she said, no carbs after midday. So no fruit. I wasn't allowed fruit after midday.
Like you would be burning so much energy.
And also her classes, I had to like physically do the classes and I was maybe doing like 4 or 5 classes a day. And like physically we had to do them and we had to be able to talk through them. And she was like, that will dictate your fitness level. Like if you can't do that, you need to work hard and you need to be able to do that. So I was like physically doing like 2.5 hours of exercise a day on top of just like moving. Anyway, it gets better. She then made me download an app that had 6 grids and I would have to upload my meals.
What?
And so I'd have breakfast, breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea, dinner, dessert, and I had to leave a square blank because God forbid you had like morning tea as well or something. And she would be like, less carbs. This is where you're going wrong. And then this is the real kicker. So that was like end of grade 12 for me, end of 2016. I was still working there. I went on holiday, like Christmas holiday break with my family. I was overseas and she texted my mum saying, Kate has a photo shoot when we get home. Like we was doing like fresh headshots and like marketing images for the brand. And please make sure you watch what she's eating while she's away.
What'd your mum say?
I think my mum was just, and I've got 3 older brothers. And so I think it was my mum's first experience with this too, because we're just so not that household. Like I come from a Lebanese background where food is so heavily celebrated, so much the center of everything that we do. You know, you were applauded if you could eat the most. And it was always like, eat everything, eat what's on your plate. Like it was just such a foreign thing. I think that mum was kind of like what? She was like, oh yeah, like, and I think my mum kind of gave her the benefit of the doubt of like, oh, she just wants you to like feel like full of energy and I'd like had low iron. So maybe she was like, I don't know. It was just like a weird time. I think because my mum had never had that kind of interaction. She was just a bit, she was a bit like, what?
Yeah.
Mum was like, hey, I got this text. Like,
and what did you
My
feel?
mum was probably like, make sure you're eating plenty. It sounds like you got a big workload when you get home. Like she's like, eat up, like get lots in. And but like, I kid you not, I think I was like, not a disgustingly low, like I was still healthy, but I was very low body fat.
So what did you do? Like, did you change how you were on that holiday? Or did you have thick skin?
I think I was just like, wait, what? I think, look, don't get me wrong. I think I definitely started developing odd habits where I had this hell-bent thing about not having fruit after midday. And
it's just so crazy.
It was so, now look back on it, I'm like,
and like
whoa.
you were traveling, you're probably in a hot climate. It's nice to have,
but I was
like,
just
fruit
like,
is fresh.
But it's fruit. Like it's
minerals,
not like
natural.
Literally, it's not like she's saying to me, oh, ease up on the packets of lollies or like, but even if I was having lollies, like let me be.
Even in the modelling industry, I remember once I was on set. I was actually thinking about it the other day, and the model they had used before me, like she was 0 body fat.
Yeah.
And they were talking about like all the things that she did. And it was like she doesn't eat any fruit, any carbs. And like those were the conversations, and they were saying how incredible she was. So then I left that shoot being like, fruit is the bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
And it gets that point when you start seeing bad foods that are actually healthy. Like lollies and stuff also aren't bad foods. They're in moderation.
Yeah.
But like things like fruit, when that becomes like the evil,
I know.
and you're so impressionable, like you said, like that is heartbreaking and it scares me. And I actually saw you talking on another podcast about a topic where people use half a banana.
For Christ's sake.
I was like, oh my God, it's actually so true. Because it's like, what do you do with the other half? Like, just
literally,
eat it.
I'm like, it's just this weird thing. It's, you know, we're so conditioned to think that you just have 2 eggs and you just have half a banana.
But 2 eggs isn't enough, right?
No, it's so far from enough. It's like literally not even half of enough. So if for context, one single egg has 6 grams of protein in it. You are recommended to eat around 30 grams of protein per main meal. Like thereabouts, right?
Yeah.
Give or take a bit. You're having 6 grams with 1 egg. 2 eggs, you're 12. You're still not even at 15, which is halfway. So it's like, I don't know, it's just all these weird food concepts that we learn over time or adapt from other people, or maybe someone says something in passing, or maybe it's very direct, but you develop these very odd rules with food. Or, you know, I'm sure we've all gone through that period of like, exercise before you eat because in some weird warped world you burn more calories if you haven't eaten. Do you know, you know, like we've all gone through that period, or like, I don't know, just all this stuff. And I'm like, hold up, what are we doing with the other half of that banana?
Yeah, because
like, just eat it.
Eat it. Just eat it. Or like what I do is sometimes, like yesterday I made my bowl, which I do have half a banana on the bowl because that's enough that fits, but then I eat the rest with the pistachio butter. Like I just eat it.
Yeah.
Like it's not in the bowl, but I just eat it. Even if I only put half in a smoothie, I'll just eat the other half while I wait for it to blend. Do you know what I
yes,
like?
yes.
It's getting eaten, because also the amount of times I do cut a banana, it gets black and I never ate it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You're always like, oh, I'll use it tomorrow. No, you don't.
No.
Like, you don't. Like, the only time
And also, it's people who do count calories, which we will get into. Yeah. Like, I just don't think it's going to make a difference, half of a banana.
It doesn't.
Do you know what
I mean? Do you know what makes a difference? Is the massive binge that they will go on in the afternoon because they've so heavily restricted throughout the whole day, and then their body is just like demanding like this full like feast of food because they're just craving control and like all this kind of stuff. And then they binge out. I'm like, babes, if you just had like half a banana and a balanced meal, we'd be in a very different position.
Place. Yeah. Well, because before we got onto the bananas and the things like that, we were talking about body image. And what I'm loving so far is I feel that you did have this thick skin growing up, and I do think that is how you are where you are. You've got through a bunch of different obstacles. I was talking to a girlfriend the other day. They were reading a book in book club, and she was saying how all the girls in the book club rated the book 10 out of 10. And my friend was like, I just couldn't rate it 10 out of 10 because there was so many themes of disordered eating, and it really impacted me. And it's one of those topics where for some people, it is so triggering. Like, I cannot read about it. It can't be in the storyline. But for other people who have just had a really healthy relationship with food, they can kind of read it and not get impacted by it, not get absorbed by it. So I think your dance background, even though I've heard a lot of the opposite, where people are like, go down some really bad paths, it gave you that thick skin to get through that. And now you're such a positive person. And you're saying you got all these body positive rituals. Yeah. What do you do?
Honestly, it's just as... Like, okay, so first of all, I think it's very important to train for performance based instead of like aesthetics. So sign yourself up for something, whether that be, you know, a 10K fun run, or you do
the City to Surf.
City to Surf. Like, discussing that. City to Surf, or like, it doesn't have to be a monumental thing. You don't have to go to the extreme of like a marathon or something like that. Even if you just do, you know, park run every Saturday, or I don't know, even internally, you just set a goal of like, I want to be able to run 10 kilometers comfortably. I don't know why all of these are running things. They don't have to be running things. They could be swimming. They could be, you just want to do a high rocks thing. I don't know, whatever it might be that like makes you happy. Or maybe you go play tennis on the weekend or something. It just strips away the idea that you are only ever training for aesthetic, and it gives you something to work towards. And I think I did a marathon in 2023, and it was like a reset to my mind and my body, because like I said, I grew up with I would say relatively good relationship with food. I've always been body conscious, and I think there's a big difference between body conscious and body image. I've always wanted to be healthy. I've enjoyed eating well. I've liked being fit.
The Lebanese background as well.
Yeah, the Lebanese background. Yeah, I'm like,
they won't let you, babe.
No, they literally. It's like.
No, absolutely.
It's a very...
And the Lebanese danced it off after.
100%. You know? But it was like, if you didn't eat, it was, what was wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
No, it's offensive.
It's offensive. It is offensive. Like, if I didn't eat my whole plate plus more of what my mum cooked.
It's absolutely offensive.
I'd be like sent to my room. So anyway, but I think in 2023, when I signed up for this marathon, I had to fuel because I was running a lot of kilometers, and I very quickly ran. Like one weekend I remember I went to a long lunch on a Friday, and it was beautiful Greek food, but it was high protein, high fat, and delicious food, but not much carb. And I tried to run the next day, and I think I had like an 18K run, and I felt like I was running into a brick wall the whole run. And I was like, what the heck? Like last week I felt great. Like, am I getting sick? What's going on? Anyway, I didn't think anything of it. The next week I went and got sushi the night, like on the Friday before my long run, ran I think like 22K, felt amazing. And I quickly realized that food was my friend, and it was very much a fuel. And I started playing around with that. And I got to the point where I would go on a Friday night and eat as much sushi, mainly because it's like high in rice and like carbs. And I was eating it to the point where I was like, I am so full. I was so lean. I was running so well. And like, that's not why I was running to be lean, but it was just like, you know, some people are like, oh my God, sushi rice, like it's full of sugar, it'll make you not like feel great. Looked great, felt great, performing well. And it like fully changed my brain chemistry about how I approached my diet and my food. And I was like, I very quickly came up with this thing, and I would tell myself, and I still do, it's like, you eat to earn your workouts. You don't work out to earn your food.
Oh, I love that.
So I'm like, I would never take myself on a run now or any sort of exercise without earning the right to do it by fueling my body correctly. And I'm like, if I've been traveling or working and I've like just got off a plane and I've come home and I'm like, oh, I really want to go for a run. If I've had a weird day of eating, or maybe I haven't eaten in quite a few hours because I've been like, you know, on the road, I'm not going to do that to my body. And I've learned that. I'm like, no, you earn your workouts by eating correctly. You don't earn your food by working out. And I think I tell myself that, and I tell my clients that. So that would be like my first and second ritual is like, have goals that are performance-based to strip away like the aesthetic goal. Secondly, remind yourself that you have to earn your workouts by fueling your body correctly. And then I think I also, like when I catch myself saying something negative, I stop myself and I physically am like, no, like stop this, because you have just as much of an opportunity to say something nice to yourself and just as much of an opportunity to build yourself up and be your number one hype person as much as you can sit there and stand in the mirror and pick yourself apart. No matter which path you take in that moment, you are not going to change how you look in that very moment. So it's like you can sit here and rip yourself to shreds, but by doing that, you're not then shredding off, 5 kilos that you might want to lose by doing that. If anything, you're boosting your cortisol, you're making yourself feel crappy, your mental health is in a great place, and you're probably going to like not be practicing good habits. Or you can be like, no, stop. I love myself. I am proud of the legs that can walk me, in the morning to the sunrise. I love the way that my brain thinks. I love how creative I am. And you start pulling it apart. And it kind of like you're changing the narrative.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really big about. I'm like, you need to change your narrative because you become what you think. And if you constantly think that you're not enough, you don't look how you should look, you don't look how you think society thinks you should be, your brain doesn't work how, other people's brains might work. It's like, cool, you're going to become that. And you're going to manifest that. Literally my boyfriend last night was talking to me about it, and he was, because I do like obsess over like little health things, not even little, like a full nerd when it comes to like preventative health. And he was like, I sometimes think that you manifest these like things into fruition. And he's like, you need to just like chill. But it's true. So I'm like, no, I need to step back at the moment and reassess and be like, no, just think good things
positively,
and think positively and stop yourself. And like you have to, because right now if we were to sit down and you started like, telling me all these things that you don't like about yourself, I'd be like, stop, don't say that. And I have these things with my girlfriends where I'm like, stop right now. Like they'll say something and be like, oh my God, no, ew, I look gross. I'm like, no, first of all, apologize to me to saying such rubbish in my, company. Now apologize to yourself. And if like we've got another girlfriend in the room and I'm like, and apologize to her too for having to listen to that. I'm like, say something and I'm like, say thank you, like take the compliment. So I think it's, rewiring how our brains work and kind of changing that narrative. And then my last tip is like a little bit woo-woo, but in bed at night, I will say things to myself out loud. And usually it's like 3 things. I'll be like, you are beautiful, you are smart, you are strong. Or like maybe they're things that I'm like kind of struggling with or, trying to work on, and I'll repeat them over and over and over until I like actually believe what I'm saying. Yeah. So I just think like the power of your words is so strong.
You're going to love the journal.
I think I'm going to love the journal.
It's got morning affirmations and evening affirmations, which is exactly what you do. And I always say to everyone, use one for whether it's a day, a week, or a month, but you continue using it until you believe it.
100%.
And then you swap it, and then you swap it, and then that's when they become really powerful. Because you are the words that you say to yourself. I'm such a believer in it, and it's it's been transformative for me in my relationship with food, my relationship with myself, the relationship with the people in my life. Everything changed once I changed how I spoke to myself.
Yeah, but I'm going to be the first to say it's not easy. Like it's not just as easy as being like, oh babe, just say things in the mirror to yourself that's nice. Because when you're in that low point or you're not feeling great, and I'm the first to say I have days where I feel shocking, and unfortunately they always seem to be days when I have to go to shoot stuff, and you very quickly when you walk into a room, and you'd probably be the same with your modeling background, it's you walk into a room, there's photographers there, makeup there, all these people that are paid, they're waiting for you to show up. You can't walk in and be like, hey guys, today's not my day.
Yeah.
They don't care. They're like, cool, get on set.
Yeah.
And that's the same with me. So I'm like, okay, I can sit here and feel shit this entire day. It's going to translate into the photos or the videos or whatever we're shooting, and I'm going to hate it. Or I can quickly take a second in the bathroom, pull myself together, say nice things, and get back out there and enjoy the day. Because the day's going to happen anyway. And I'm like, let's just make it a good one.
Yeah.
But it's not easy, especially if you're in the thick of it. So I think that's your journal sounds perfect in the sense that you're practicing these things. And I think like anything, if you want to see progress in the gym, you must be consistent. And if you want to see progress with your gut health, you must consistently eat things that are good for your gut. And if you want to see, an improvement in your body image, you need to be consistently talking to yourself in the right way. It doesn't you don't just wake up one day and be like, I love myself.
Yeah.
You actually have to practice it week in, week out to feel like that.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It is hard.
I love that. That was amazing. I want to talk a little bit about cycle syncing because what resonated with me there is so I'm getting married, as I said, and I'm due for my period.
Oh, Lord.
And so how you said if you feel like shit, but you get to set, everyone's waiting, you just got to pull yourself into it. The other day I went for my final dress fitting and I was meant to get all dolled up and get all this content and I just said, I get my period today. I'm coming in track pants.
Yeah.
And I look disgusting.
Yeah.
And they're putting the dress on me. It's all tight because I'm so swollen.
Oh, and you're get it off.
And I'm just if this is on my wedding day how I feel, FML.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I also laugh because a lot of the podcast guests who I have are quite spiritual and some would say woo-woo. And I'll say, can you do this day? And they'll be like, sorry, I'm bleeding. I don't do podcasts. That's not what I'm social.
Oh, really?
And I actually am leaning into that creating of the schedule and knowing what days you bleed so that you can plan accordingly. If
I could plan my shoot days around my period, I would.
Right?
Because it's night and day as to how I look,
but you don't look different to us. Do you know? No. I swear. That's what I'm telling myself. That's my positive.
Okay. Because I agree.
I'm if I get my period on my wedding day, I'm going to tell myself that no one else sees me looking different. It literally is in my head.
No, it is in your head. No, I will fully, I agree. It is all in your head, but I think you feel like you look different. You are a bit, but you feel it.
The dress is going to be tight.
But you feel it because you feel like you look much bigger than what you are because you feel heavy and you feel but when someone looks at you, they don't feel the pain that you're in. They don't feel the tender boobs. They don't feel any of that kind of stuff.
I don't mind the tender boobs.
Oh, fuck that.
Because you got big boobs.
Part of my
I don't have boobs, so I'm
oh no, this is not when I, I don't know how TMI we can go on this podcast, but to the point where I don't want to wear a bra. My boobs, I was saying this to my girlfriend this morning.
She's teaching on sweat and it's just.
Oh yeah, I'm like, guys, today's an overshirt Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's my main symptom with my period is I have the most raging mood swings the week before, just so emotional, really just need a hug, very emotional, very sad.
That luteal phase, it'll get ya.
Christ. But then my boobs, they literally, so right now they're a double D on a standard day and they're real. And then I reckon the week before my period, day 1, 2, 3, they're E, G, yeah. To the point my partner will be they are, that's not just an internal thing that you're feeling.
They
he
are.
was what? They literally won't fit into my bras properly.
Jesus.
But that's just, but then I sit down, I'm I don't have cramps. I don't have any of these other things. So if that's my thing, so be it. Whatevs.
As
the beauty of being a girl. But it's hard because I put on a bra and I might want to shoot and I'm I don't feel good.
No, and then it's hard.
It's hard. It also makes a very innocent photo.
There'll be no jumping in today's
No
class.
jumping. But I'm also it makes a really innocent photo not look so innocent.
I know.
And
my friends with boobs always say this. You always want what you can't have.
You always want what you can't have. But again, I went through puberty really early, and I've had like I had D-cup boobs in like grade 8.
Wow.
So I've learned very quickly, and like I'd always come out in the same outfits as like one of my girlfriends when I was younger, and she looked innocent and cute, and I looked not. No. And like as a 14-year-old, that's not really the vibes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just like, it's just me. I'm like, whatever. But yeah, the luteal phase, holy shit.
It's actually something I keep saying that no one talks about, is that I've dealt with body dysmorphia and disordered eating for pretty much my whole teens and then my 20s.
Yeah.
And the only time that it reoccurs for me, like I would say I have a really good healthy relationship with food. The only day that it comes back is the day before my cycle. And there is so much internal dialect going on. And that is when, thank God, I practice what I preach. Because truly, I don't know, I feel like it could downward spiral every day that 100%. Month because it's a mental illness. Like I feel like one day of a month there's a chance that I could like
really
go like bad
go
down the other way. And I'm just so grateful, like for example, for my gratitude practice and things where I'm like, how you even said, I'm so grateful I can move my body. Like let's take away this aesthetic. And I really want to jump into strength training because that for me was a turning point in my life.
Really?
That was when, because I was a cardio bunny because I just wanted to be skinny.
Yeah.
And that was a turning point for me, was when I started strength training and lifting heavy.
It makes you feel
heavy.
so good.
And I was like, you actually have PBs. Like you actually are trying to like
and that comes back to what I was saying about like having performance goals.
I really think that's an amazing piece of advice when it comes to feeling really confident in yourself.
Yeah.
Feeling strong is like
sexy.
It's sexy and it's number one. And, you know, people always use that example of when you're on the plane putting your luggage on the overhead locker. Like you always want to be able to be like that.
Yeah.
And also like to have that independence, to be 100%. Able to do that. And you said you're obsessed with all the longevity stuff.
Yeah,
obsessed with longevity. Isn't strength training like the number one way?
It is like the number one anti-aging pill is strength training. Yeah. Period. Like, and this whole
put that on like your merch,
literally, like tattoo it on my forehead. Truly, if one of my and I bang onto it about my mum, and she's pretty good, and she's like quite receptive to it. But even my dad, I'm like, guys, you need to be lifting weights, like, and they're pretty good. They're like, oh, I go like once a week. I'm like, no, 4 to 5 times a week, please. Yeah, different generation, and they're like, oh no, but like I look fine. I'm like, no, but it's what's happening on the inside. So, but I understand, like, you know, the main listener on this podcast is going to be any girl, you know, early teens to, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s maybe. I will give you $10 million if you show me that strength training makes you bulky. Like, can we just get rid of that whole idea? Because it doesn't. Like, it is so actually hard, and you would know this from like starting strength training, to put on muscle. As a female, we have such low testosterone levels. Like to actually put on muscle mass.
My testosterone is like 0.
Yeah, like it's actually really challenging. Like please be my guest and show me this like extravagant amount of gains you're making in 2 sessions. I would love to see.
You know what it is as well? Because I remember when I did start doing strength training and my clothes felt different. Like it fit different. But it's just the muscle is now like a defined muscle. So you're not like bulky.
No, it is. I get it. It's like you start to feel quite unfamiliar in your body, and I think it's new, and you're shifting, and things fit differently, and you might have this like range of clothes in your jeans, for example. Like jeans are always like a good one because they don't really stretch too much, and you put them on, you're like, wait, why does this feel tighter around my thighs? You know, like things like that. And it's like, no, babe, because you've actually got muscle, and muscle is like your number one metabolic burning machine. Like if you really want to make body composition changes, and I think that's a whole nother thing in itself. Like we can talk about body composition. It doesn't have to be negative. Like if you want to actually change how your body looks, regardless of what that change might be, good on you, go for it. But lifting weights is going to be your best friend for that. Because, it increases your lean muscle mass, which in turn increases your metabolism, generally speaking. What that means is that the more lean muscle mass that you hold in your body, the higher your metabolic rate is, because muscle requires more energy or calories, if that's what we're going to call it, to exist within your body versus fat. So if we can think about like, I always explain to people, I'm like, think about a jug of milk, right? And the more muscle mass or milk you have in that bottle of milk, the less body fat air you can have. So the more muscle mass we put in, or the more milk we put in, it starts churning through your fat, and it like requires more energy to exist and to be there. So you can, a lot of people, it gives them a lot of food freedom, because you can in turn actually eat more and look the same, if not better, like whatever better means to you. You don't feel like you're as restricted, and it's kind of like, another way to explain it, I like to give like, visuals. It's like buying an investment property. You may not see that return on it immediately, because you have to invest and like sit on it for time, and it like grows over time, but that is your strength training. Whereas renting is like your cardio. You instantly can move in, you instantly have a place to live in, and it just like, but you have to pay every week to still be there, if that makes sense. So it's like cardio, it's like, and it has its time and place. And I'm big on cardio because it's great for your cardiovascular health. It's great for your mental health. I love to run, but it's like short-term like hits of feedback to your body, opposed to strength training, which is a long-term investment. It serves you for your entire life. And the story I hear time and time again from any of my clients that are quite literally, they're not even that old, like from 40 on, they're like, I wish I did strength training earlier. I now have this issue. I now have this niggle. And then, we look at much older people and they can't live independently. They can't do just the simple things in life, like get stuff off the top shelf and carry their groceries upstairs. And that is actually what kills people, because they lose their independence, they lose their happiness, and they lose just like that independence of life. So yeah, if you can do anything in your 20s and 30s, just please lift some weights.
When you say lift some weight, how heavy do we need to go? Because I do PT twice a week, which is like heavy. But then I also go to Pilates and I'll pick like the 5 kilo dumbbells. Is that enough?
Okay, so I will always preface by saying, don't let the idea of perfect get in the way of good. And that meaning like, if you enjoy Pilates and that's what allows you to show up to the gym 5 times, I'm not saying you have to go 5 times a week, but that allows you to be consistent every single week and go, 4 to 5 times a week, girlfriend, you go for that. Like if that's what you love and your body craves, do it. If you crave going to the gym and lifting weights, like barbells, dumbbells, that kind of stuff, and that's what gets you moving consistently, go do that. But what happens is when you lift weights, your muscle fibers are put under stress and they actually tear a little bit. And then through the presence of protein, so what we consume, those muscle fibers rebuild, and it's almost like a scab. Like imagine them rebuilding and scabbing, and then they build and they get a little bit bigger. But we have to tear that muscle fiber for that repair process to happen. Now, lifting dumbbells and barbells that are heavier are going to tear that muscle fiber in a more efficient way. So you're getting more bang for your buck out of that session, opposed to lighter weights when you go to Pilates, because the stress on the muscle isn't as high. What I mean is that, neither's right or wrong, but one is just going to get you to that goal faster.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're not doing your body a disservice by doing Pilates, but you're just going to be tearing that muscle fiber more, putting more stress on that muscle by lifting heavier weights and creating, really kickstarting that process of your muscle fibers repairing with the presence of protein. That's very, very important that you have the protein present. And that's how we start to see that muscle mass growth and change in your body composition and what you might look like. And then, okay, so great, I want to go lift weights. What does that look like? That looks like, generally speaking, you want to fall into an area of training called hypertrophy. Hypertrophy means muscle growth. So that is usually 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps.
Oh, not many.
No, not that many. Not as little as like say 5, like aiming more towards like 8 to 10, maybe 8 to 12.
So like you could not do another one. You want to get to that point?
You want to finish, like, so say you're doing 3 sets of 8 reps of a squat. Great. That weight for you and then the person next to you can definitely vary, obviously. The rule of thumb, if you're not like tracking it like really closely with a specific number and you don't want to do your like 1RM testing, your 1RM is like how heavy you can go for just 1 rep, is finishing with about 2 reps in reserve. So meaning you finish your 8th rep, and when you finish that, you could have only done 2 more with great form. If you felt like you finished that 8th rep and you could go for another 5 reps, you're not going heavy enough. So you go, okay, great. Next set, I'm going to go up a little bit more. And there is absolutely no harm in grabbing a heavier weight and starting and being like, oh boy, I'm not going to get to 8 reps. with good form. Like it's too heavy. Stop, put the weight down, pick up a new one. Like there's no right or wrong in the gym in that sense. Like play around with it, especially if you're getting to know your body. Like me, I've obviously been going to the gym for many, many years now. I know where I should be at weight-wise. So I know like what weights for me work with about that 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, and that'll only have 2 reps in reserve. But I think the biggest thing is that women actually underestimate how strong they are, and they often don't go heavy enough. And it's not until they go to a trainer where they're like, no, come on, we're loading the weight on. And you're like, I'm a badass bitch. Like I can lift this weight. However, we're going to segue for a second. When I come into my luteal phase, holy hell, I literally feel like I've never stepped in the gym before. My motivation is low. So I guess coming back to your question about like, how does that maybe impact my training, or like, how do I go about that? I just give myself grace.
Yeah.
And I give myself that space to show up in whatever capacity I can. So, and also some cycles are easier than others. Like just, I don't know why, but they just are. And sometimes I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, I feel pretty good. And like maybe just the one day before my period, I feel a bit ugh. But then other times I'm like, holy, this whole week is just hell. And even if I get to the gym and just lift some like pretty light weights and just do the session just to make my like, you know, to be present and to feel good mentally, great. If I don't get there that week, also great. Because I'm like, my body's trying to do shit. Like it is like working overtime right now to be a female. And that is what I've learned. And that's the advice I also give to clients. It's like, and any, you know, girl that might message me, I don't want to sit here and be like, okay, so in your luteal phase, you can only do walks and this and this and this. I'm like, no, in that time, you just might want to do a little bit less than what your baseline normal is. So if your baseline normal is running 80K a week and doing 4 strength sessions a week because that's your normal. But I know girls that do that. I'm like, you don't now need to become like a Pilates girl overnight because you're in your luteal phase. All you need to do is just tone it back a bit from what your norm is. But if your norm is doing, you know, yoga 5 times a week and going on a few walks, amazing. You might just want to take a few slower mornings, do some breath work on the beach. It's so individual. But you also might just cruise through that week because every period's different. So it's a very individual thing. And I think the best advice I could give anyone during that time is like, just go with grace and don't be too hard on yourself. And your body is actually hungrier. Like it's not this like weird thing that's happening in your head.
I'm starving.
I feel like a horse. It could literally just eat for hours.
Forever.
Yeah, but your body is doing stuff and it actually is burning through more energy. So you need to put in more energy. And you're going to have more of a detrimental impact on your body by not giving it the food it needs. And generally speaking, it needs more carbohydrates, which helps control your cortisol, so your stress hormone. So giving it the carbs, reducing your intensity of exercise, whatever that might be, because everybody's baseline for training is different, and just, giving yourself a bit of grace during that week.
Yeah, that's some really good advice. And I think it's about being bio-individual. What's your baseline and going from there?
Yeah, because I don't want to be like, oh, my baseline's different to your baseline, which is different to the next person, which is different to the next person. It's like, I think everyone just needs to stop judging everyone. It's like you just do what works for you.
Yeah, and check in with yourself and track your cycle and see your patterns as well.
That's why like journaling is so good. Yeah. Because you like wake up and you're like, I actually need to do a full body scan. Like, how do I actually feel? Not what like should I be doing, or what, ticks off this like list of like being in the perfect wellness routine. I'm like, what does my body actually want? And like 9 times out of 10, it's like, I just want to go back to sleep. Yeah. Like I just need sleep.
I want to ask about this. Yeah. Pulsing in Pilates, when you're talking about reps, because I'm like, when you do pulsing, you do like 50.
Yeah.
Does it do anything?
It does. Like it does. So Pilates, so when we're like talking about hypertrophy, right, the strength training, like 3 to 4 sets, 8 to 10 reps.
Yeah, I'm like,
so Pilates
8 to 10 reps, we're doing like 100.
Yeah. So Pilates falls into more like an endurance bracket. Well, not even more. It definitely falls into that endurance bracket where it's, you're looking at like 20% of your max load, so very light weights, but really high reps. To be honest, a pulse is put in there to just burn that muscle, and it's not necessarily going to make you have like any incredible gains in your glutes or core or arms or whatever body part you're working. It's purely there.
But it feels like you are.
Because it's like this whole concept, like the harder you work and the more your muscle burns, it must mean that you're making more progress. Endurance-wise, yes, it's testing your muscular endurance fantastic. It's just not the same purpose as like trying to grow lean muscle mass. So very different. It's like
I think a lot of people do go to Pilates thinking they're going to grow a booty and like
it tones.
Yeah.
I kind of hate that word at the same time as I use it because like what the hell? Yeah, I'm like, what is toning? Like it just it does strengthen the muscle in an endurance
and it's still
way.
amazing for you.
That's the thing. I'm like, I don't want to like downplay Pilates. I love Pilates. I'm a Pilates instructor. I teach Pilates. Like I love it. But I'm a big believer that it should not be the fundamental of your training. It should not be the base. Like you should definitely be having at least 2 strength sessions a week as the baseline of your training. And Pilates then complements that. That is where I stand on it all.
That's like the sweet spot.
That is the sweet spot. If I could like design like the perfect program for someone, it would be 2, or I would say actually ideally 3 strength sessions a week, 2 Pilates, and then 1 to 2 like jog or walk, some level of like cardio. But again, whatever that means to you. The run is not necessarily better than the walk. It's just what suits you and your body.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast and you're saying that you got off the marina.
Oh,
can we talk a little bit about your experience with
100%.
your cycle? Are you open about it?
Oh my God, so open.
Yeah, because so when did you go on the marina?
So I got it put in 2022, I want to say. The beginning of 2022.
And how was it? How was your
Initially, it was
experience?
fine. To be honest, I had the best experience to the point that I got my best friend Kayla on it because I was like raving about it. I said to her, in the best way possible, I feel like a dude. My mood is the same. My PMS, gone. And I had always struggled with really low iron.
Did it impact your libido?
Well, not initially. And I also at this time when I got it put in wasn't in a relationship. So I kind of was just like, libido what? Like, okay, cool. So I got it put in. It was really great initially because I stopped bleeding and my iron levels went up because I wasn't losing that blood. I could really focus on like getting really good quality iron in, and the PMS was gone. So then, at this time so that was beginning of 2022. And then maybe it was even 2021 now that I think about it. And then I signed with Sweat at the end of 2022. So at this time, I was like training so consistently because I didn't have a week where I felt crappy. It was just like progress after progress after progress. My iron levels were going up. I felt full of energy. Like I was like, whoa, what is this? Like, what have I been sleeping on? This is great. And then I was always skeptical because my mum is like very like what do they call them now? Like a crunchy mum, like an almond mum? An almond mum. Yeah. My mum
is that?
It's like the mum that's like very holistic and you're like, Mum, I want afternoon tea, and they're like, I've got carrot sticks at home, and you're like, cool, not what I was envisioning, but sure. So my mum was always very anti me being on any level of birth control. And I was off it, like I tried the pill for like 3 weeks when I was 16, and I was like, I hate this. Like went straight off it, never went on anything until 2021, I believe it was. And then I was on it. I started with Sweat. It was like really great. I was like feeling really good. I could shoot whenever they wanted to shoot me because I was like, no PMS, no off days or whatever. And then that kind of like went into 2023, and I trained for my first marathon, and it was again like each week I just got faster and fitter and stronger, and I never had to take like a week back because I didn't have a luteal phase. Again, alarm bells, like that's not normal.
Yeah, it's so funny because I fully understand that version of you where you're not thinking about your feminine energy. You're not thinking about like the power in cycle syncing. Like you're thinking, I don't want to bleed. I don't want PMS. Like
literally it was like I could go.
But it's a full stop. Like it's actually the most powerful thing. Even though before I was criticizing like having my period and feeling shit, I actually always love it because
it's the best
I can sit and read a book and have zero guilt about it. But I fully understand like you're on the marina, you're not getting your period, you're running, you're hitting PBs.
Literally, it was like week in, week out, felt amazing.
You're like what is this superpower?
100%. And then in that time, I also went into a relationship, and so that I was like, well, there's no fear of like, potentially falling pregnant. Like, it was just like, It was just chill. It was like, great. I was like, cool. And then during this time, so this is like probably middle of 2023 onwards, I was going through like a lot of family stuff. I had also like signed with Sweat, which meant I was like on a much bigger platform. Regardless of what people say, like people look at your body as a trainer, as someone on social media, like they want to know how you eat, how you train. So I was like on another level of a platform, and Sweat is a major platform across the world. And my mental health now in retrospect, started to go downhill a bit, and to the point where I would be in bed every afternoon from 3 to 5 p.m. My best friend Kayla knew that if she called me, I'd be sitting in my room with the lights off, and I called it like my decompressing time.
Shit.
And I remember just thinking, oh, I'm just doing this because I was also still training clients at the time. So I was like up at 4 a.m. training clients, doing all that, but then also doing all my sweat stuff, filming and flying and shooting to in a way I'd never had before. And I was like, there's just a lot going on. I was also going through all this family stuff, which was like really stressful at the time. So I was like, you know what? I just need to decompress. Also at this time, my libido went MIA. I was in a relationship with someone at the time that I really, enjoyed being around. I was like, this just isn't checking out. And I started taking maca powder and all these things because I was like, oh my God,
Did you take that horny goat weed?
No, what is that? Oh my God, no, I didn't.
When I was at school, it was something
I don't know
you could buy. I don't know, they just, or you could buy
Okay,
it.
well, I needed it. I was like, the maca powder was doing nothing. And I remember just being like, oh, I love the taste of it.
I love maca
Yeah, I love maca powder. Anyway, and I was just like, I don't know, it was just really weird. And also Kayla hadn't ever known me to not be on this birth control. And I think I wasn't being fully open with my family about every afternoon rotting in my bed from 3 to 5. And I was still working, but I just had to work in my room, lights off, blinds closed. Yeah, really dark, really grim.
And now I've only met you today, but it's so not your personality.
It's so not me.
It's really weird.
It's not weird. No, it is weird.
No, but if anyone does that, you do you, but you as a person is not that.
No, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me. And it was very, you could say, you were right. It was very weird for me. That was not my norm. It was weird for me. And anyway, I started also getting recurrent UTIs and all this stuff. And I was like, what? And I'm someone that's very self-aware, very self-aware of my health. And I was like, nah, there is things going on. There are red flags. I should not be in bed. I'm at the time I was a 24-year-old, healthy, fit, marathon running, great, happy person in a good relationship, all this stuff. I was like, what is going on? This is not right. Started getting all these UTIs. I was calling my parents saying, did I have these as a kid? What's going on? I'm now booked in to see all these specialists. I'm on antibiotics every other month. I'm this is not well. And then I remember on TikTok one day, God bless TikTok, and I read this thing and it was your contraception can be causing UTIs. I was but it's if anyone knows female anatomy, I'm it's different holes and different things. I'm this is not checking out.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then, but I got it in my head and I'm very if I get something in my head, I have to action it and try it anyway. And I was look, whatever, I'll get it taken out. And if it's not that, and we can try a different avenue, but I really had it in my head. And then this was went over quite a few months. And this, at the beginning of 2024, I had the conversation with my partner and I was hey, look, I really want to get this contraception out. End up buying an Aura ring to track my cycle more naturally. Got it taken out. And I shit you not, 10 days later, I remember FaceTiming Kayla and she was in her hair and makeup, getting her makeup done. And I was hey, she was hey, you all good? I'm just at work. And I was dude, I'm happy. And she was what? And I was I'm just so happy.
Oh my God.
And so over the 3.5 years that I had this in me, it wasn't an overnight change. And I think that's why I kept pointing the finger at is it not sweat itself, love sweat so much, but is it being on that platform and having people so many eyes on me? Is it the stuff with my family? Is it maybe the relationship I was in? Is it all these things? And I'm no, it was the contraception I was on. In saying that, this is so weird and I'm so happy to talk about it. I then proceeded to, this is so bad. I then proceeded to break up with my boyfriend 10 days after that. And we'd been living together for 18 months.
It changes how you view men, everything.
Everything. It was
the
the switch. Oh, yeah. Call me woo-woo, call me whatever. Honestly, night and day.
Yeah.
10 days later, calling my best friend being I'm happy again. I cannot tell you that I've sat in my bed and never, not since I got it taken out. I've not had to sit in my room.
Well, lucky you weren't engaged, had kids or something.
Literally. And I remember telling one of my brothers, I was I'm going to get it taken out because, you know what, I don't even know if I was telling my brother that, but I was. Anyway, and he was and he sent me this TikTok or an Instagram reel and was pretty much saying, I think it was an Andrew Huberman podcast
that
or something.
You won't get attracted to.
He was you lose attraction to your partner, and he was and he was really, really, and he still is really good friends with my ex, and he was oh, haha, unlucky, beep name. And I was oh yeah, haha. Literally.
But
But I would say the biggest thing beyond like and also UTI is gone, that also could have been to do with like now in retrospect, I'm like, that relationship was not right for me. But I just lost my personality. Yeah. That's the only way I can describe it. I was like, as much as I didn't necessarily feel the lows, but I didn't feel any highs. Like I didn't feel the highs of life or the winds of life. Like it would be a beautiful sunny day and I'd be like,
yeah, but that's what the pill did to me. I was flatlining.
I was just flatlining. I was like, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but nothing was good.
Nothing was good.
And I don't know if you feel the same, but if I look at the trajectory of my life and what I've achieved finding my husband, it all aligns to going off the pill. Have you had like a big increase in just like purpose and passion and like it's just crazy.
But I'm like far more empathetic.
Far more. I was like a bit. Yeah, I just like didn't feel much.
But
now
you know what's funny? I've like
softy.
Found the most gorgeous girlfriends. Like I've always had like some like my best friends like have been in my life forever. But like I found the most beautiful girlfriends, and I think that's also like potentially growing up and just everyone's kind of.
How can you find friends if you're not authentically you?
100%. And I'm now with the most gorgeous guy, and I love him so much to the point that I've like literally moved cities and. Like we did long distance for 9 months and it just like never crossed my mind that was like difficult or like hard because I was like, that's just, I'm just happy. Yeah, and I'm really content in life, even though there's like so many things in the air at the moment about like, moving cities and moving away from my family and like, discovering a new place and all these things. But I'm like, so much has happened with work. Like literally I could look back on the past 6 months, even just, I've been off this marina for like quite a while now. But like even, what has happened since I've been off, like since I got taken out in Feb last year, and it has literally been like a whirlwind in the best way possible ever since. And the sad thing is that I don't think I've spoken to a single person that has actually had a good relationship or like a good time with any level of contraception. But you are just literally pushed onto it as a female. You got a headache? Oh, take the pill. You got this, take the pill. I'm like, no.
And the thing is, the pill has been around for 70 years or something. It really empowered women to be able to have sex and not fall pregnant and reduce that risk. And it has its place. For some women, it is amazing. I do think, though, the doctors, when we go in there, need to show us pros and cons of all options, because not being on birth control when you're young and having a high risk of falling pregnant can really impact your life. So,
100%.
They just need to educate us a little bit
But
more.
I also wish like I knew, and like coming off the marina, and I was like, I'm going to get the Aura ring, and like one of my friends had recommended this amazing book about like your period and like learning about it.
Video one?
Oh, I can't remember the name.
In the Flow?
I honestly can't. I'm gonna send it to you so you can link it below for the girls, because it was so good. And I was like, why am I learning this at 25?
That you can only fall pregnant for 72 hours.
days, and like the increase in your body temperature and all these things. And I was like, in my head, all I knew was that I had a period once a month, if I was lucky, if my body like wanted to work with me. And then you didn't have your period, and that was your cycle.
Yeah.
It was just like, and it was so empowering to learn these things, because it's allowed me to show up for myself in a much better way. And like I was saying before about training with my luteal phase, I'm like, okay, no wonder I'm not running well. No wonder I feel so weak in the gym. No wonder I'm more emotional. And I know that now, so I don't put the pressure on myself.
And that's okay.
But it's more than okay. It's just like what our bodies do.
Beautiful, like go into that softer, gentle, maybe do some more stretching and stuff that your body really needs to balance out the hard workouts you do when you're in your follicular or your ovulation phase.
100%. And it's just like, it's really empowering. And I've loved also, sharing parts with my partner as well, and like, telling him about it so where he's on the same wavelength, because I feel like that's when we have our tiffs or like we get short with one another, is because he's like, who are you right now? But do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you can relate.
Yes.
Like, and I'm like, okay, I need you to know where I'm up to, so you can also have a bit more patience with me and understand that like I'm kind of going through something right now. So just take some things I say with a grain of salt, and I don't mean to be crazy.
And bring me some chocolate in bed.
Bring me some chocolate in bed, but like just know that I'm not going to be as like, or if you like have a bit of banter, and like we have that in our relationship, and he'd be like, I don't know, and just say whatever.
Sensitive.
And then I'm like, as if you'd say that to me. And he's like, whoa, I literally said this to you 3 days ago and you laughed. And like, it's just having that level of education has changed the game for me, and also has allowed me to hold more space to my clients and also teach them. And they come into the gym and I train a lot of like perimenopausal, menopausal women, which is a whole nother thing in itself. And it's so incredibly challenging. But I'm like, just be kind. Like, just be kind, because it's going to take your body so much further than beating and bashing on it every single day.
Yeah, I love that.
Being a girl's a full-time job.
It is, babe.
And then you go to work.
It is, babe.
Literally.
Fully. When you went off the marina,
Yeah.
how was your gut health?
Like, I don't know. It's like really hard to say. It's like really hard for me to pinpoint it to that.
So all I'm saying is that correlation doesn't mean causation. Like, just because things correlated, we actually don't know if it causes anything. Like, these are all personal experiences, personal journeys.
I would say it's really hard to say. The reason I say it's hard to say is because I've had an ongoing journey with my gut for over a decade.
Why? Do you know where it stemmed?
Basically,
That trainer.
Yeah, basically that
lady
trainer.
that-
No, before her, I got chronic fatigue when I was in grade 11. So basically chronic fatigue is like glandular fever but without the virus. And my body, to the point, shut down where I didn't do the end of grade 11. I slept for like what felt like 3-4 weeks straight. And then my body got so run down and sick, I started having random anaphylactic reactions. I'm not anaphylactic. Like my whole, like literally can show you photos, my whole throat closed over, eyes closed over, like as if I was someone that was highly allergic to peanuts and had peanuts. Because my body was just so stressed and run down. And then through multiple trips to the hospital with like heaps of EpiPens, a whole heap of like Phenergan and antihistamines and that kind of stuff. And then being told I was so scared that I was going to stop breathing that one allergist told me that I could take up to 8 Telfast a day. Yeah, Lord help you. You know how much like one Phenergan or one Telfast drives you up?
Out.
I was taking 8. So my body got so chronically dehydrated, my gut particularly. So then my whole gut just got ruined. And that was in 2015. And then I had to literally rebuild my gut for the past decade. And I'd say it's a lot better than what it is now. So it's a lot better now than what it was. But I still go up and down. Like I said to you, like I travel a lot. I'm on planes a lot, which I don't think that air pressure is good for your gut. I know now more than anything, more than any food or anything like that, stress triggers my gut more than anything. And, you know, whether that even being good stress, it's still stress. Like if you're hosting an event or traveling or doing these things, I'm like, my body's like, go, 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 go. Like my Aura ring the other day was like, you've spent 15 hours of your day in this stress state. I know. It's like so bad. And then I can sit there and be like, well, I'm so bloated. Like no shit. So coming off the pill, off the marina, I think there was things happening, but I don't think it was the direct reason. It's too hard for me to pinpoint, I would say.
Fair enough.
But a lot of people say it like gets better or it gets worse or I don't know. It's very hard to say.
Were you on, because I know you're a big bone broth drinker.
Bone broth.
Were you doing that all, like how long have you been doing that for?
I've been having bone broth, so I went on like I've always been working on my gut health, but I probably went on a gut health kind of journey with a really amazing nutritionist, and she like really transformed a lot for me. And that was probably 2021, and she got me onto the whole bone broth thing.
That was way before bone broth was cool.
Yeah. I was like, you know,
I was an
OG bone broth girl.
It's so annoying because I really love bone broth, but I just don't like the paste.
Fair enough.
They
Do you know
have
how
to be
easy
fresh.
it is to make yourself?
Yeah, I know. They have to be fresh. I don't know. I mean, the pastes are good and convenient, but I just makes
What about
me
the powder?
Is that better?
Just like it's...
I don't know. I think because it goes white. The cup goes like the liquid
it goes a bit like milky looking and you're like, what the hell? But you can incorporate it in other ways. Like I cook my rice in it.
Yeah. I use that one for like my curries and everything.
Curries, rice.
No,
all that kind of stuff. I know what you mean. But like you can incorporate it in certain ways.
Alone.
Yeah, it's a lot. But you know what I would say is like add some grated ginger, put a bit of like fresh lemon into it, like salt it. A lot of times they're not salty enough. And as soon as I tell people to salt them, they're like, oh, this is way better.
The paste ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like to make it myself as well if I'm bothered. But yeah, I love bone broth. And that for me, bone broth first thing in the morning, before coffee, before food, does wonders. It is like literal liquid gold. So good. So good.
It feels good.
It does feel good. And it's like not cortisol rising, gives you a hit of protein. You'll love a bit of protein right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Bone broth is really, really good for you.
Do you think that would be your number one tip for girls who are struggling with their gut?
Yeah, bone broth. And I would try, like, I don't like to strip things out of people's diets, but I think there's a lot of people having like artificial sweeteners. So if you're having a lot of equals, sugar-free syrups, you know, I love that matchas are big at the moment, but what sweeteners are they putting into it? Are they using cane sugar? Like all these things are actually really damaging to your gut health. Those Fun Day sweets, love them in moderation. I did myself dirty at the Gold Coast Half Marathon.
Did you get diarrhea?
Like three bags of them. I literally look like a balloon you could pop. And I was like running the next day and I was like, I feel crook.
Yeah, I don't like lollies.
I'm not a big lolly person.
I'm a chocky girl.
I'm a chocky girl through and through.
Yeah.
But I think because they were like there and I'm celiac and they're gluten-free. So like most lollies aren't gluten-free.
And also when you see that as a label, gluten-free, you're like,
yeah, and they're like sugar-free or whatever. And I'm like, they're removing the sugar, they're putting something else in, and it's usually an artificial sweetener. So if someone is listening and struggling with their gut health, I would say look at artificial sweeteners for one. That would be my biggest one that I would take out. Like they literally do not serve any purpose in your diet. Like there's no nutritional benefit to those. Have some fresh honey, like some beautiful high quality honey, raw honey. So good for you.
Pay extra for it.
Yeah.
In a glass jar.
Because
do not get plastic jar.
No, because what you end up doing is you'll pay more in the long run seeing some sort of specialist to try and fix your gut health. So
yeah.
Pay the extra 20 cents or whatever it is and get the good stuff. Get the good stuff. The second thing I'd be looking at is seed oils, highly inflammatory. So if you are consuming stuff that has like sunflower oil, rapeseed oil, canola oil, they're really, really harmful to your gut.
Now there's a mix there's data coming out that it's not that bad. And for me personally, as you said, the stress is the worst thing for your gut.
Yes, stress is the worst thing.
There is seed oils in a lot of stuff. If you're eating majority of the time healthy, I feel like the seed oil debate is so heated right now.
I would just say though, I agree with you. And I'm really for me that eats and I'd say similar to you, a very whole foods diet, as natural as possible and foods in their whole form. If you have a bit of seed oil, it's not the end of the world. Don't get me wrong. One of my favorite little foods is a little hot chippy moment. And I can tell you right now, they're not deep frying that stuff in olive oil.
No.
It's coming.
They'll be costing you $50.
Yeah, no. It's coming out straight out of that seed oils. And best believe I love every second of eating that. And the enjoyment that I have, having hot chips socially with friends far outweighs a little bit of the seed oil.
Hot chippy.
How good's a hot chippy?
How good a little bit of sauce?
Oh, a little bit of Tommy sauce. But I would say at home, it's just as easy at Woolies to pick up the olive oil or coconut oil as it is to pick up the canola oil.
I agree.
So when you have that choice at the supermarket.
Definitely. And it's in glass, choose glass over
Yeah, definitely choose glass. And did you know that you should be buying your glass in a dark glass?
I've heard that, yeah.
So your olive oil particularly should be sitting in a dark glass. If anything, try and put it away in a cupboard.
But it feels special as well.
I know it does. I'm a bit of an olive oil connoisseur. I love my olive oil. I get my early harvest from Rich Glen.
Oh my God, she does it, yeah.
I do love it. But that's what I'm saying. Where you can be good because you still have to balance life and going out with girlfriends and having, that fun enjoyment side out. So it's at home when you're cooking with your beautiful, whether that be ghee or whatever you like to cook with, just opting for that slightly better choice is going to help your gut health. But my tips, and they seem so basic, but they work, and I sometimes fall short and I have to practice them. Chew your food. No, but it's people they just eat so quickly or always on the go, or they'll have a smoothie. Think it sounds so bizarre, but chew your smoothie a little bit. You don't realize actually how much food is going through. And when you chew, your saliva releases enzymes that start that digestive process. So when you have a smoothie, you're not necessarily chewing and your body's missing that initial stage of digestion. And so it's hitting the next part of your digestive system not broken down enough. So then your body starts releasing gases and it gets upset and it's stressed. So chew your food.
Also tells your body you're eating.
It tells,
I feel sometimes I have a smoothie and there's at the Health Emporium, it's my favorite. It's a protein powder, but it's got 3 bananas.
Yeah, so it's a lot. It's not your half banana.
Egg, broth, It's the best smoothie though.
Yum. Can we go get one of these?
Yeah, no, it's called the salted caramel one.
Yum.
But it's like a full meal. Like,
it is a meal, but so it should
when
be.
you drink a smoothie, you're like, okay, what's next? Do you know what I mean? Because you're not chewing it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if I had a cup of bone broth, a boiled egg, protein powder, 3 bananas, like I'd be full.
But you also probably sit there for 15 minutes getting through it all.
Yeah.
Not, yes, sipping. So when you have a
it's yum,
smoothie,
though.
I love a smoothie. Just drink your smoothie slowly so your body can recognize that food's going in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So chew your food. Be mindful. Put your effing phone down. I'm talking to myself here.
I need to because I watch YouTube.
Yeah, I watch
That's
YouTube
my
too. I
thing.
love YouTube.
Like I would never text and eat, but like
Oh, I do. I'm like on every. I'm like.
while you
I'm
eat.
so bad. Yeah, I'm so bad.
I couldn't do that.
But I'm like that's why I love like when I'm by myself. I do that. And that's why I love eating with other people. And like at night, Corey knows like dinner time. TV's off, phones are away, music's off. Or like maybe I'll have some music on the background, but like we are present, we are talking. Like put your knife and fork down between each mouthful.
And like, gratitude for that meal.
Yeah, and like talk throughout the meal so you're not just like into your mouth, like gone out the door. So chew your food,
unless
be
Tom
mindful.
And I are sharing because you
you got to get in there. You got to get in there quick.
I don't want to miss out, you know.
Yeah, no, I got to get in there quick.
Last night I was actually stoked because we went to Icebergs, which is so funny.
Yeah.
It felt like the hotel lobby for us.
Yeah.
To Icebergs. And we got a 500-gram steak and they like plated it so it was evenly halved. I was like, good.
Do you know what's so wild? I remember being in Europe. Where were we? No, we were in Dubai. And Dubai, if you've ever been there, it's like so backwards. It's not funny.
I've never been, no.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. And we go out to restaurants and they serve all your food for you. Like it's very much like a very service-based country. And they serve your food. And I was there with Corey and then Kayla and Kayla's husband, Jay. And say there was like a plate of lamb chops or something. They would give the boys like 3 lamb chops and then Kayla and I 1 each. Like, it's so wild. And I was
like, I need the protein.
Literally, I'm like, excuse me, they did not do a boot camp today. Like, I am so hungry. Anyway, it's just crazy. But yeah, it's so chewing your food, being mindful when you eat and trying to like, before you eat, just take a few deep breaths, be like.
Yeah, huge.
And you have to bring your body into that really calm state.
Rest and
digest because if you eat when you're stressed, first of all, you digest.
I do it all the time. You know what? I'm consciously eating when I'm stressed. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
Like an email will come through while I'm making my food and then my heart rate's up and I'm like, this is when I can eat. I have to eat now. And I'm like, now I'm just, like it's so annoying. That's why I'm so excited to go away. Because
I know, it's so
I feel
different.
like you can just eat and enjoy and watch the view.
Literally. And then it's, because what happens is, not only is that meal going to upset your stomach because your body's stressed, but what you can find is that you start to develop, you might eat that food at another time when you're not on your phone or whatever, and you start to get these weird intolerances and there's stress intolerances because your body recognizes that you continuously ate, I don't know, say you had.
Mine's tuna.
Yeah,
I swear to God, like I never was allergic. No, I'm not allergic, but because like often when I'm rushing, I'll just make like a tuna bowl.
You literally just took that out of my mind. I was about to say tuna.
No, because I feel like a lot of people would be tuna because it's such a common work lunch. Like tuna, rice and avo and smash it up. And I'm like, I am aggressively smashing this tuna. And now when I eat tuna, even if I'm not stressed, I feel off.
Yeah, it makes you feel off because your body has this correlation between the tuna and stress.
Wow.
So now your body eats the tuna and it's like, I'm stressed because it has this connection to that food. So that's why some people are like, I have these weird sensitivities, and I have them, weird sensitivities and intolerances to random foods. And I'm like, you may have been eating that food a fair bit when you were like in a really stressed part of your life, or you constantly had it as like your corporate work lunch and you're like eating at your desk as like your manager's like screaming at you through emails. And now that's like your stress meal.
It's so annoying because it's my favorite meal.
Isn't it so easy? But do you know what's funny for me? Like similar but different. I know you're sober right now, but I cannot for the life of me and will not, I will die on this hill saying it, I cannot drink a vodka soda because it reminds me of being 18. Oh, nah. But a vodka soda reminds me of being 18 and I instantly feel ill as soon as I like see it on a tray, like come out or you like have a sip. I actually can't. My gut gets like churning looking at it.
It's not it.
Because it's like this weird association.
No, I feel that.
Yeah.
I actually really relate to this.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, this is huge.
I just like,
it's a big realization for me.
But if you think about foods that you're constantly like, oh, that didn't make me feel good. If you think back, you're like, yeah, I actually was eating like a shit ton of, like, for ages I couldn't eat bananas. Really could not have bananas because I was eating them at a time when I had chronic fatigue and anything I ate at that time upset my tummy. And so, I mean, that was ages ago. So I had to like slowly ease my way back onto them, starting with like a quarter of a banana, half a banana, and like that like span of like a few months trying to get my body back onto it, because every time I ate a banana, I would not be able to go to the toilet for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Because my body was like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
Like, no.
What the helly?
What the hell, Anna?
Okay, well, I actually could talk to you for hours, but we have to wrap this up.
I wish we didn't have to.
I know, I'm like, I could do part 2, part 3 with you, but while you're here, I always ask the guests the same question, which is, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Everything will work out how it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Like, just, you need to like let go, and life is just going to happen how it's going to happen. And you're going to have so many sleepless nights, migraines, stressful days, trying to control things you can't control. So do what you can, just be a good person, stay true to yourself, and things will just work out how they're supposed to.
So amazing. Well, can you let the girls know where they can find you, where they can train with you, all the things?
All the things. Okay, so my best, like, I guess, point of contact is my Instagram, which is Katie M Martin _. I randomly go through stages posting on TikTok, same handle, it's like very sporadic. And I'm currently just doing some ad hoc Pilates teaching around. So if you just follow the Instagram, you'll see where I'm teaching. Cause just moving to Sydney, trying to find my feet, but I'm going to get back into PT and training. So yeah, that's what's happening.
And then you're also Lululemon ambassador, which is huge. It's like the dream role.
It's been unreal. Like, I remember being 15 and saving up for pieces and begging mum, because it was like the status at dancing. Like, if you had Lululemon, you were really like.
I remember getting my first Lululemons.
I remember
such a big deal.
I actually exactly remember the piece, and it's lasted me forever.
Yeah.
But I signed with them the beginning of this year, and it's been a dream. Like, they are just so progressive in everything they do in terms of like supporting their ambassadors, whether that be through like marathons or even my own personal events that I've wanted to bring to life. They always are asking me how they can shop and how they can support. Can they gift product? Can they seed product? Can they, like, I've got my own fitness retreat in Crete in Greece later this year, and they're like, how can we help support that, even though it's, on the other side of the world? So yeah, it's just been a dream. And like, I love it. And they're really tapping into like cool, like off-duty clothes, and it's not just so long activewear anymore. So I'm like, I literally
live in it.
The other day we're going out for dinner. My boyfriend was like, you cannot wear Lululemon to dinner. I was like, love that you think it is. It's actually not. But like, if I wanted to wear it to dinner, I would wear it to dinner.
Yeah, you can do what you want.
You can do what you want. But yeah, no, I'm loving it.
So amazing. Well, make sure you guys follow her socials. If you love this episode, send it to a friend, share it on your socials. We would love to see. And I will see you on the next episode.